and the building and stuff when you walk through. It's a very creepy and eerie feeling. A lot of these locations have like a personal meaning to me, maybe stuff that's happened off camera or when I investigated the first time, and there's a reason behind why I'm going back to all these locations, because I want to further investigate it and understand it and just have my own personal experiences now that I'm a little bit more mature and understand stuff a little bit better. But not only that, but with people from all over the place. So I'm looking forward to it.
It's a great opportunity. You know, there's not, I don't want to say, I'm not trying to step on everybody else's toes and say that people are doing things wrong, but there's that disconnect from, you know, a TV celeb, quote unquote, to an investigator. And a lot of people in the field, there's a dividing line where people feel that the shows are good and people feel that the shows are bad because you only get to see, you know, what a total of maybe 40 minutes, if that, because you got other things that are mixed in. So maybe 30 minutes or 20 minutes or 10 minutes of a night, 2-night, 3-night investigation. So, of course, all the stuff that's going to be good for TV makes it to TV. You really lose the investigation part, the investigator who's involved with that. And I think it's awesome that you're bringing that out to the people to show them, hey, look, you know, you only get to see 20 minutes of what we did.
Yeah.
Here I am, you know, let me show you how we got to that point where that
how I
evidence
investigate
came.
and why I'm so passionate about it. Yeah.
But a lot of people want to learn. A lot of people want to come out for the experience. It's all about the personal experience. And I tell people this during the Q&A at the beginning when I first meet everybody. I stand there and I say, look, it doesn't matter your background, it doesn't matter what your beliefs are. The fact is we're all going to die someday. That is a fact. But the other fact is we produce some sort of energy that is entrapped in our bodies that we're living in right now. We produce energy. Where does that energy go when the body dies? You know, energy can't be destroyed. So is it multiplying? Is it lingering? Is it you know, does this energy have like traces of memory that we once had that we're living in right now on this plane before we move on? So a lot of these things are experiences that people are actually going through, which I love because I love seeing people who are open-minded, and they come in these locations and they're kind of blown away sometimes. Like I love seeing the reactions where I have a recorder and I'm asking questions and everybody's held around in their small little group. You know, it's about 20, 30 people that it's broken down in small groups, and very quiet, and everyone's standing there. And it's funny because I got an EVP on the playback. I do everything in real time, so when I played it back, we got a voice. And I know I'm not moving the recorder. You know, I've been doing this long enough, and I'm just holding it still, and everyone's watching. And then we play it back, and everyone's blown away. Yeah, I hear that voice, too, that, you know, wasn't supposed to be said or anything, you know, in the dead of the silence. And then, you know, there's somewhat of a skeptic there, and he's just like, well, couldn't you be matrixing? And I'm like, sure, anything is possible, but here, why don't you hold the recorder? I don't really care, you know. I don't have anything to prove or whatever. I'm just holding it. And my the guy who's with me is like, hey, you didn't want to hold it? I'm like, all right, let me just put it on the floor. Let me put it on the chair. And we sat it down on the chair. Everyone just sat there. No one said anything. And then I asked another question, and this is at Bobby Mackey's. And I said something like, do you like it when Bobby Mackey plays the music? Do you like when the band plays music here? Was one of my questions. And then it's really silent. And then on playback, you can hear a voice say, I like it when the band plays. It's like so clear that everyone can just hear it. And I take it up to the guy. I'm like, here, do you hear this? Nobody's touching the recorder. And he's like, no, I hear that. I definitely hear that. I'm like, all right, well, I don't, you know, it's really cool. Those are the moments that you know that somebody, I love people when they walk away from these investigations just in general. Forget like the tour that I'm doing and everything, just the investigation in general, or just the path, the reason behind their part of life, why they're there in that moment, and they walk away thinking about it. In their heads, they're thinking about every explanation of how that could be possible. Is it possible? What happens? It gets them thinking in their life, and that's more valuable to me than anything. And I think that's what these things you can kind of walk away from, is it becomes a deep thinking situation, and I'm an extreme deep thinker. So I love, you know, hearing people's thoughts at the end of the day after they've experienced stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm sure it makes you feel good to know that you, like, started them on that path to that deep thinking in the right way. You can be confident knowing. Yeah, you can be confident knowing what you know and having the background that you do, and the way that you present this evidence or the how you help them along in the investigation, explain things to them, that they have a good basis to go on and explore on their own now.
Yeah.
Because they remember
and
what
a lot of
said.
them tell me that. A lot of them say that at the end of the day in the comments that we get on our Facebook page. A lot of them will write in and say, most incredible experiences I've ever had. I've never experienced something like that. Some people have been doing this for 20 years. I have this guy who has come to all of my events, and he says he's been doing this for 20-something years, and he brings his case of equipment, and he's super into it, super nice guy, very logical thinker and stuff like that. But he comes to all of them now because he's like, you know what? These have been by far the best investigation/events/Q&A that it gets him thinking, and it gets him deeper and deeper into pushing his path in his life, what he wants to search for. And I think that's what all this is about, forget let's go to a Q&A and hear someone talk or whatever, I think it's all about that life journey, that life seeking, trying to figure out what you're on your own quest in your own life. And that's really what this is about. That's my only preach I can give it for an analogy.
You're like his Maharaja.
Yeah, something like that, I guess, for the paranormal.
It's tough because you just brought up a good point. A lot of people come to these events. We just did Salem Con, a couple months ago. Well, actually, last month. My God, it feels like it was forever ago.
I know.
We did Salem Con last month, and putting it all together and trying to get some locations that people can go to investigate but take something away from it is not an easy task, man. And for you to be able to have, there's no way around it. You have a large group of people that want to come see you. That's a big group of people on the investigation, and for them to be able to go in there and experience it and take it away, that they gain something from it, they learn something, and they experience something during that investigation, and to be able to say to you, I've been doing this 20 years. These are some of the best investigations I've ever been on.
Yeah.
That's really says something right there, because it's not easy to put a crowd of people together and maintain some sort of, I guess just maintain some sort of non-contamination that'll allow people to say, wow, that was a real piece of evidence right there. I'm blown away.
Yeah.
It's hard to do, so kudos to you, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, we worked really, really hard to equate it. That was one of my biggest fears when I started this, because I knew there was going to be a massive amount of groups and people coming out to these events from the get-go, but I really wanted to limit it. And it's not about capitalizing, it's about the experience and having a good time and having that great feedback overall. And I'm more about that than anything. So it's it took us a long time to equate, okay, how many people can we actually fit? How many people is it overboard where it's just too much? So we cap it off at a certain amount of people for each location that we know that we can efficiently break the groups down to a small group where it can be organized and people can maintain that, that investigation and not have contamination and whatnot. So we did a really good job. Mansfield was a massive group, but it was so big that we were able to separate people into really, really small groups with a lot of guest people that I had come out, like Johnny Hauser and John Tenney and Marc and Debbie Constantino and the Kirklands and Greg and Dana Newkirk. So I had all these people that were able to break them down in small groups that we could show everybody, and it flowed really well, even for that group. Yeah. So I think that's a lot of fear with everybody, but know for sure that we are breaking it down. We think it through extremely well before we, execute anything. Plus my team is really good. I mean, Jennifer and Lee Kirkland and Jeff Waldridge and all the other people that come out and help do a really excellent job running everything from top notch. They come from a great background in doing these type of events, so they've done an excellent job.
You you should do, Nick? Do like a Drive Health and Fitness. Do like a 30-minute workout before each investigation. Yeah,
that would be really funny. It would be funny, all
right. First.
That would be kind of an interesting experiment, though. If you think about it, if we produce energy, right, and you're putting energy or you're putting that energy out there into the atmosphere, and can you imagine having all those people kind of working out and huffing and puffing and stuff,
Yeah.
you know, to the point where they're like exhausted and they're putting all that energy out there, and then start rolling on like a recording session to see if, you know, it intensifies the energy within the atmosphere. That'd be kind of cool.
Right.
Different.
Yeah. Absolutely. Why not?
Yeah.
We're up for it. I've been in locations where we did some cool little experiments, like you just said about the building up energy.
Yeah.
You've been here. We did an experiment in Houghton Mansion in North Adams, Mass. And we were in the Masonic Temple. And when we were in the temple, we had this device, an ITC device that we were using. And what we did was we just started yelling, not yelling like angrily at people, just letting all this energy out and stomping around and just creating this soup of energy. Of energy. I just felt like I'm losing my hair. So this soup of energy, just trying to pump the place up to see what would happen, to see if it intensified the communications or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to us, of course we thought like, oh, look, it worked, you know.
Yeah.
The jury's out. Did it really work? Was it just us getting pumped up so we thought it worked better?
Right.
Who knows? But it's cool to do experiments like that, and why not think outside the box? And you never know. Maybe at one of these events, Nick will have everybody working out, you know, like you said.
Oh my God, that was awesome.
Like
Yeah, if you jump in touch or something.
Cool.
Yeah, I think I did at the Mansfield. Everyone was walking up the stairs to the cell blocks and stuff. That was a huge place to be walking around. It was pretty tired at the end because it went to like 4 a.m. in the morning and stuff, and it was like an all-day thing. So it was pretty intense. But, I love it. I love it. I love investigating. I love the paranormal. You know, every second of the day, the life of us is ticking away to our time. Yeah. So I think it's interesting, no matter what your background is. Everybody's fascinated in, you know, what happens when you die. So I just think all the theories can keep playing off. We can keep getting closer and closer as technology keeps evolving and things keep being unexplainable and interesting, and the topics are still there. I'm super fascinated by it, and I'll keep doing what I do.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is a lot of people poo-poo technology just because we're all creatures of habit and we're afraid to change and do something different. But, you know, we haven't gotten the answers so far, so why not keep trying new things? Why not keep developing new tools and see what we can go to the next level with? And if we can't, then okay, that didn't work, but at least we eliminated that. So now what do we do? Yeah. It's really important that people keep being imaginative and think forward and keep coming up with these ideas, because if they don't, it hasn't worked yet. So we really haven't found the answer. So keep going. You know, for all you people out there that have the great ideas, put them to paper, write them down, find somebody maybe that can make them into reality. And who says you can't bring your own devices and your own creations on an investigation and test them out? You never know what can happen. So, you know, everybody keep being creative out there. Now, just to change gears a little bit before we switch gears, and I'll have you do this again at the end, why don't you tell everybody, as if they don't know already, where can they get tickets or where can they find out more info about the Nick Groff Tour? Yeah, they can go to nickgrofftour.com. All the information, tickets, everything is up there. We've been putting montage videos together, too, of every single event. Our events, montage videos are up there, too, and the link is to our YouTube is on there. Our Facebook page, we post everything on our Facebook page. It's Nick Groff Tour on Facebook. And you can see pictures, behind the scenes, you know, just everything is pretty much there. Excellent.
I have one question, though, before we switch gears. Is Bobby Mackey's really scary? Because I refuse to go to Bobby Mackey's. I absolutely refuse.
It is. You know, I swore that I would never go back there years ago, and I've learned as I've gotten older, never say never. So the thing is, you know, I was in such a negative place in my life about a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, and when I went back there, when I was filming, I said, I don't want to go there. You know, I can't step foot on it just because I felt like that dark cloud was still hovering over my head, and I just felt like it wasn't safe for my own well-being and stuff, that I could attract more negativity onto me, you know, like a sponge just drawing out that negative energy. And I didn't want to leave a location like that knowing I could possibly have an attachment, bring it home and whatnot, you know, to my family. Yeah. So it's like I didn't feel right, and that's what came out of my mouth, and that's what I said. I don't want to go in here for the safety of everything. So, you know, skip forward in time to February this year, 2015, and I got my life together in a positive mentality when I started like diving into my gym and working out and mentally and just getting back into shape and feeling good and kind of feeling focused. So now I felt like I was ready to come back to some of